Hello, 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 hello. Yes, this is my voice. Let's see if you guys can hear it all. Hello, hello, hello. Alright, you guys can hear me. So I'm going to give it a couple of seconds for people to catch up. I know this is kind of a sudden, out of nowhere. If a lot of people aren't really necessarily caught on to things, then that's fine. But we got to talk about this. We gotta talk about this that's happening here today. Let's see here. This is kind of me shooting the shit. I didn't really prepare for anything. Truth be told, I just got back from work, and the second thing I see when I get back from work is all this rigmarole about Ring of Honor and apparently MLW too. So, let's see what's going on here. Hello everybody that's joining into the live chat. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Whoa, that was quick. I'm here. Keem, my boy Rich Latta from the Rich Latta from Rich Latta TV is in the building. My boy. It's probably gonna be a small audience. That's fine. I wasn't really planning on doing a newscast, obviously, but all this shit happening here today, it's kind of an indictment on a lot of things about the wrestling world and in Ring of Honor in particular. So, again, if you're just joining in, forgive me for all the kind of out of nowhere type of stuff that's going on. I didn't really prepare graphics, no countdown, anything like that. This is kind of me just shooting the shit. So, but it is breaking news. Oh shit. Let's get to it, right? Apparently Ring of Honor is on its last legs. We are in the final few moments of Ring of Honor becoming a thing. Anyone that didn't know or wasn't picking up on the hints, this is probably a shock to you. But for others like myself, that read between the lines, that knew what was up from the get-go, that saw things that weren't adding up all these months and years, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not really surprised. I'm not surprised one bit that this is all happening. But let's go ahead. I want to read this article so that way you don't really just get it from me. I want you to get it from the sources, if you will. So let's talk about it. This is from dailyddt.com. Ring of Honor to close its doors after Final Battle 2021 pay-per-view. So let's read it because there's a lot to really get into and unpack. In a press release that was initially tweeted by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter and later deleted, Ring of Honor has announced that they will be closing their doors and releasing all talents from their contracts effective immediately following the closing of Final Battle 2021. The pay-per-view is scheduled to air live on Fight TV and Honor Club, the Ring of Honor streaming service, live from the I can never get this right. Chesapeake Employees Insurance Arena on December 11th. Wow. Until recently, it was meant to serve as a grand return to the world of professional wrestling for one of the longest-running independent companies in recent years. Now it seems it may only mark the day that a once-heralded company recently marred with controversy and poor booking takes its final breath. And we're going to actually read the press release in a moment, but the press release cites keeping everyone on payroll regardless, even when they were not running shows, as the chief reason for why the promotion has no other choice but to close its doors following the final show. It states, throughout the pandemic, our top priority was to keep everyone healthy and safe, and despite not producing any live events for over 18 months, we were able to keep everyone fully contracted. The press release goes on to state that they anticipate a return to producing live events beginning in Q2 of 2022 with Supercard of Honor in April. Whether or not the same cast of performers will be returning or not is as of yet to be seen still. Though it was clarified by Sean Ross Sapp that according to his sources, anyone whose contract initially extended past Final Battle will be paid through the end of March of 2021. And that essentially is the whole article from there. I do want to read the full press release from Ring of Honor. I have it here set up. Here we go. I want to go ahead and read this. It's going to probably tell you a lot of things. There we go. Make sure it's... screw it. Throughout the pandemic, our top priority was to keep everyone healthy and safe. And despite not producing any live events over 18 months, we were able to keep everyone fully contracted. We now find ourselves at a time where we need to make changes to our business operations and are planning a pivot for Ring of Honor with a new mission and strategy. The year culminates with a final battle in December, and we will take the first quarter of 2022 to work internally to reimagine ROH. ROH has the most dedicated fans in the industry, and we appreciate their loyalty and patience as we reconceptualize Ring of Honor. We anticipate returning to live events in April for the Supercard of Honor with a new fan-focused product and provide a unique experience for wrestling fans. Well, I know a lot of you are a little confused with a lot of that wording and a lot of that rigor remorse, so let me go ahead and kind of let you know what's up. Let me let you know what the jig is here. It's over. It's over, folks. That's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much what they're trying to tell you here, without telling you. This is it. For those that don't recall, this is the same type of wording that happened within the dying days of WCW back in 2001. You know, there was rumors of a few Fusion Media with Eric Bischoff leading the helm, trying to buy out Turner and take advantage of the company and reimagine it so they can come back within the summer and all that. God, man, a motherfucker cannot let me be in peace. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you have roommates. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah. Basically, what this means is that it's over. It's over. If you go back to the dying days of WCW, they were basically trying to reimagine the company as well, buy it from Turner, and come back within around the summer and try to make a new WCW. You saw all the rumors. You saw the Big Bang concept and what that was going to be if Fusion and Bischoff had bought off WCW. Yeah, this is Joe Coffin Sinclair basically telling all of you that the Ring of Honor that you knew, which was dead anyways, but the Ring of Honor that you were accustomed to for all these months, the good and the bad, it's over. It's over, and they know it. Again, like I state, for those that are just coming in, if you didn't pay attention to the within the lines, if you didn't know, then this might come as a surprise to you. But for those that were paying attention, for those that can read between the lines, for those that were aware of what was going on, yeah, of course, this is not a surprise. I want to actually go into another article here, if I may, kind of a little bit more in detail as to what's going on here. This is from comicbook.com in terms of Ring of Honor. It says here, Ring of Honor will reportedly release all wrestlers from contracts, enter hiatus at the end of 2021. Ring of Honor released a statement on Wednesday confirming that the Baltimore-based promotion will be entering a hiatus following December's Final Battle 2021 pay-per-view. The statement read, throughout the... Well, we already read the statement, so we don't need to go ahead and read that again. You can see here, Dave Meltzer tweeted on 12:46 p.m. today, Ring of Honor released everyone from contracts, more to come. Sean Ross Sapp at Fightful.com. Based on who I've spoken with, Ring of Honor releases are effective at the end of the year. If a contract goes beyond that, they're paid until March 31st. So that would essentially be the end of the quarter, the first quarter, I believe, of 2022. Let's see here. PWInsider.com has confirmed with multiple talents who were on today's Ring of Honor Zoom call that they were informed that if their contracts were expiring at the end of the year, they will not be renewed. Talents who have deals beyond January 1st of next year will remain under contract for at least a certain period of time, Johnson wrote. He also noted that the promotion already has a venue locked in for the aforementioned Supercard of Honor event during WrestleMania 38 weekend. Final battle is set to take place at the UMBC Event Center in Baltimore on December 11th. And then here's an update from Sean Ross Sapp here. Based on, here it is. Ring of Honor talent was told to contact Greg Gilliland if they want to work elsewhere. And if they're under a deal, they'll work on making that happen. And then you can read about the history there of Ring of Honor. So there you go. Essentially, I know they're trying to tell you that the Supercard of Honor event's going to be probably happening next year. If I'm a betting man, if you're asking me of my thoughts on that, if you're really asking me what I think of that, I don't think that event's going to happen. I don't think we're going to have a Supercard of Honor. I think that was more so of a cover for them to say that there is an effort to try to bring back Ring of Honor for next year. But I'm assuming once we get closer to that date, it'll be either postponed or outright canceled. Look, we all understood last year with the pandemic that a lot of things were going to take place, good and bad. You have to wonder if Tony Khan and AEW didn't get that TV deal at the start of 2020 last year, where would they be right now? That's an important question. You know, Impact, it's had its troubles financially throughout the years. They seem to be stable, and they had their partnership with AEW as well, but where would they be if they didn't have certain things handed to them? MLW, and I'll get to MLW in a moment because there's a little bit of update with them as well, but MLW, they were banking on Fightland, their recent Supercard offering, to really be a boom, a little bit of a buzz for them, and it really didn't translate to that in the ratings for Vice. So they might be in a standstill as well. The NWA, they're basically hanging on by a thread and looking for every way possible to make sure that they can keep afloat Billy Corgan's money. But we all knew that this pandemic was going to wipe away a lot of talent, wipe away a lot of companies going forward. We didn't know the after effects once we got through it. You know, with Ring of Honor, I do have to say this. Even before the pandemic, you were starting to see the cracks form. I know a lot of people are going to go into the whole, well, what about the New Japan Supercard G1 in Madison Square Garden? And I agree. I do agree that that's where a lot of things started falling off. I mean, you can go back to a lot of things. You can go back to that event. You can go back to the Elite leaving Ring of Honor and them having to rely on their actual in-house talent. You can go back to New Japan scaling back on their relationship with Ring of Honor, which would then birth the whole Western expansion of New Japan USA. You can go back to the Cornette leaving Ring of Honor, being ousted from Ring of Honor. You can go back to the whole HDNet debacle. You can go back to Rob Feinstein. You can go back to Bully Ray. You can go back to a lot of issues that Ring of Honor has suffered through within the past decade and a half to where they are looking to be almost out of business. And look, I understand that a lot of people are fond of Ring of Honor. I was more TNA than Ring of Honor, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't fond or appreciative of Ring of Honor. You know, I remember the trilogy between CM Punk and Samoa Joe. I remember Homicide's title reign. I remember Bryan Danielson being the best in the world at that time. I remember Generation Next. I remember the Kings of Wrestling. There's a lot of things about Ring of Honor that will still hold within me for as long as I live as a wrestling fan. But we also have to come to reality that Ring of Honor eventually knew that this day was going to come. It may have not come this soon, but we're here now. And I don't know the full details about this whole thing. I don't know what truly is going on in Ring of Honor, if this is the swan song going into Ring of Honor. But I will have to say this, and this is an evergreen tweet anyways, or an evergreen statement anyways. Fuck Sinclair. Fuck the Sinclair Broadcasting Group. And quite frankly, fuck Joe Koff too. Look, I don't deny that with their money and their structure, that if they hadn't stepped in and bought Ring of Honor, that Ring of Honor would have died sooner. There were things that were positive about them doing that. I don't disregard that. What I do disregard, however, is that they had a property, a very valuable property, that they could have really done more with, that they could have really supported with more, that could have added more money into, more time, more effort. And instead, what happened was that Sinclair only saw it as content for their syndication programming, and they knew that they didn't have any patience, they didn't have any time, they didn't have any care in the world to grow Ring of Honor. They just wanted content for their distribution. They wanted content for the syndication. That was it. Nothing more and nothing less. It was never about growing Ring of Honor. It was never about adding into the prospect of Ring of Honor, maybe, just maybe, being a major third promotion. It was never about Ring of Honor trying to at least usurp, in a way, AEW, or let alone being some sort of viable competition with WWE. It was only about keeping ROH at a certain level, but not too much to where it hurts their portfolio, potentially. That's what happened here. And I feel bad for the talent. I really do feel bad for the talent, too, because, look, this sucks. It sucks that this is happening before the holidays, quite frankly. And I know that there's going to be more talent to be in jeopardy of their job, not just here in Ring of Honor, but obviously in MLW, which I'll talk about in a moment. WWE, obviously, is being rumored. AEW, you never know. They usually keep their talent until their contract expire, but who knows? Who really does? Who really knows? The point being is that now, the former contracted Ring of Honor talent have to find places to work now. They have to find places to where they can hope to get a chance, an opportunity. So you're looking at the Jay Lethals and the Briscoes, who have been stalwarts in that company for a long time. Now they have to hope that some major company, which may want to give them a look, will sign them out of sheer legacy or work. I mean, you look at who else? You look at Ring of Honor. They were working so hard on the Women of Honor division, and now it's just basically blown up in smoke. You know, I know Roxy won the title just a few weeks ago, and now all that effort is going to be put to the wayside. You know, you got the likes of Jonathan Gresham, you got Josh Woods out there, you've got Brody King, you got Kenny King, you got Roosh was on his way out anyways. Dragon Lee, you got a lot of these other talent that could be a viable asset elsewhere, and they usually are, but they've been stuck in Ring of Honor for so long that, you know, their value may not be as high as it should. And I'm looking at this comment here, and yeah, it does bring it to light. You know, the Briscoes just won the GCW tag team titles. That did just happen. So that makes sense now. And I know a lot of people were shitting on the whole AEW Impact partnership and all that. But let's really think about it. If AEW didn't aid in this partnership with Impact, and I'm not saying it was perfect, there were a lot of errors between the partnership, but if AEW didn't step in and partner with Impact, where would Impact Wrestling be right now too? Let's really talk about that. You know? What about MLW? Where would MLW be right now? Well, when you have a carny like Court Bauer being your owner, stuff like that's going to happen. And let me actually get to that right now so I don't keep teasing you about it and all that stuff. Let me go ahead and find it here real quick. Yeah, let me go ahead. Apparently MLW is releasing talent as well today. me go ahead and read this here from WrestleTalk.com, which is, got to be careful, but this is from actually PW Insider. As per PW Insider, Major League Wrestling has released Buku, Biesman, and Leo Bryan following reports that there would be roster cuts. Buku has made several appearances for MLW since signing with the promotion in October 2020. He was involved in a storyline with TJP when he first joined the company. Biesman made his first appearance for the promotion during the recent Fightland tapings after signing with MLW in September. Bryan, one half of the Dirty Blondes tag team, had joined MLW in February and was talked about as one of the pro wrestling's best kept secrets by MLW president Court Bauer. PW Insider previously reported that the roster is being cut as per an edict issued by Bauer to shorten MLW events and tapings. MLW has yet to publicly announce the releases. So, look, I have my issues with Court Bauer. I think the man's a carny of all carnies, but the fact of the matter is that, I know those are like low-level talent. Those are talent that aren't going to really pop your eye. It's not Hammerstone. It's not Richard Holiday. It's not Jacob Fatu. It's not any of those guys. But who's to say that won't trickle down to them eventually? Again, I stated earlier, MLW was banking on Fightland to be the starting point to where they would see a lot of big things happening for them going into 2022. And looking at the ratings and buzz that it got after the show, it just didn't do that. So, MLW's probably thinking that, that was our biggest shot to really do something with Vice, and it didn't work out the way we thought it would work out. So, maybe it's time to start cutting down these tapings and shows. Maybe release some talent that we had no use for. Might as well. But that's what you have to. That's what you have to think, And at the end of the day, look. At the end of the day, if you're a wrestling fan, wrestling is booming for you. If you're not really a wrestling fan, if you're like a mere casual, quote unquote, if you're somebody that doesn't follow wrestling so much, then wrestling isn't that popular to you, and it's not. It's not in the grand scheme of things compared to other years. But if you're a wrestling fan, it's the best year. It's been the best year that it's been because you're a loyal wrestling fan that's spending your money on multiple options and promotions out there. So, look, I know a lot of people are trying to dissect and try to act like this is going to be some sort of intricate plan with Ring of Honor. Folks, and I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong with my prediction too. But it's over. This is the beginning of the end, if it isn't already. I could argue that it's already been the beginning of the end for months now anyways, but this is it. We're getting to that point now, folks. In terms of what might happen in the future, that tape library for Ring of Honor is going to be very precious. I would assume WWE would be the highest bidder in that. I'm sure AEW might want to look into that as well. NWA maybe, I don't know. But Ring of Honor, there's a lot of history with that company. There's a lot of history within those tape libraries. And we'll see if Sinclair is willing to sell it to the highest bidder to get some sort of compensation for it. As far as the talent goes, man, if you're one of the big three promotions, right? If you're like WWE, AEW, or New Japan, if you're looking for a talent right now that you've been eyeing on in Ring of Honor, then this is the biggest chance you could get, quite frankly. I mean, the likes of here's the thing. If you want me to start making guesses, I can't do like a whole roster list of predictions. But I will make assumptions here and there. I think, like, for example, I could see a Jonathan Gresham in AEW. I could see a Jay Lethal in WWE. I could see the likes of Angelina Love going back to Impact because they're doing a whole throwback anyways over there in Impact. Briscoes, they are the GCW Tag Team Champions. They might want to continue their legacy there. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of options as to where a lot of people can go. And I'm actually curious to see what's going to happen. Look, I think at the end of the day, look, I don't want to shit on Ring of Honor too much, even though I could. And I probably will anyways on Twitter for the jokes and all that. But at the end of the day, Ring of Honor is an important part of wrestling history. It's an important part of independent wrestling history. You can't tell the story of professional wrestling in the 2000s without Ring of Honor. You can't do it. It birthed a lot of superstars from the past and the present and the future even. It really established that it was a place for the true professional wrestling fan to go in and watch some of the best matches in the world at the time. Matches that, WWE and Impact Wrestling were not doing at the time at all. The Nigel McGuinnes's, the Bryan Danielsons, the CM Punks, the Samoa Joes, the James Gibsons, the, Chris Heroes, the Christopher Daniels, the AJ Styles, the Matt Sydals, the Jack Evans, the Briscoes, the Claudio Castagnolis, the Kevin Steens, the El Genericos, the Jay Lethals, and yes, even Seth Rollins to a degree, Tyler Black. But regardless, a lot of superstars in WWE, AEW, New Japan, Impact were birthed from the Ring of Honor experience and because of what they learned and what they were able to accomplish in Ring of Honor. And that's nothing that should be sneezed at. So I'm saddened that if this is the end of Ring of Honor, that it's going to end with a whimper instead of a bang. But I do want to say that Ring of Honor should be thanked for a lot of the contributions that it gave to wrestling and to the wrestling fan at that time when they were doing things at that era that no other major promotion was doing at the time. And they should be commended for that. Now, if I cruise through the Ring of Honor hashtag, why don't you follow with me here? How about you follow along with me here, huh? I go through my hashtag here of Ring of Honor. You can see here a lot of people are kind of tweeting their memories and thoughts about the whole situation. Jonathan Snowden tweeted, "They won't get the credit for it because they weren't covered in the dirt sheets as heavily as the other companies were, but Ring of Honor created modern in-ring wrestling." I can't really argue with that. Andy Murray from Wrestle Talk, "Peak Ring of Honor is one of my favorite promotions ever. That era cannot be touched. Today's a sad day. B, they've had a rough few years and their buzz is non-existent. Hope all the wrestlers find work quickly." We got Wrestle Votes. I've got some friends in Ring of Honor, so I would be remiss not to say best of luck to everyone there. I'm sure much of that roster will catch on elsewhere very quickly. If Ring of Honor returns with more of an indie strategy, booking talent per event, they might just be fine in the end. And then you can just look here. I can see Cassidy Haynes is comparing this whole Ring of Honor debacle and situation with the announcement of WCW going in hiatus, which will be a permanent one. Matt Farmer of Defy. Imagine what professional wrestling would look like if Ring of Honor never existed. We can confidently say that wrestling is in a better place due to Ring of Honor's existence. That can't be argued. Whatever you might think of Ring of Honor today, or even maybe in the past, that can't even be argued. Can you imagine a wrestling world without Ring of Honor right now? Scary. Scary things. Let's see here. Yeah, you can just look at it here. You can just tell a lot of people are just giving their thoughts about Ring of Honor and what it means to them. It's a sad day. It's a sad day if you're a wrestling fan. It's a sad day that one of the stalwarts in independent wrestling, one of the stalwarts in 2000s wrestling, is essentially on its last legs, and it's unfortunate. AEW, I know it exists right now, but, Ring of Honor is a precursor to a lot of things you see in AEW today. Yeah. This sucks. If you're in the chat right now, I will say, if you're in the chat right now, if you want to, I don't know, maybe ask a question or, type some memories or, say your thoughts about this whole Ring of Honor situation, you're more than welcome to do so, and I'll go ahead and read them. And I know you guys don't want to stay here too long. Dynamite's coming up in a few minutes, so you guys want to check that out. But if you guys have any questions or thoughts about what's going on right now, you can go ahead and say whatever you would like to say about the whole matter. Homicide winning the ROH title was an emotional ride. Yeah, that was one of my... Honestly, Homicide winning that title is one of my favorite moments for Ring of Honor. And in the way he had to work hard to get to that position in order to win that title, I truly do... that was a moment really in time. For sure. Davey versus Eddie. Best in the World 2011 is such a slept-on classic. Yeah, it's weird because I remember watching that match at the time. I wasn't particularly the biggest fan of that match, but as time grew on, I started to appreciate why others did like it. So I will not argue with you if you felt that was a classic. I can see Ring of Honor getting at least one last show. Well, I mean, I guess that'll be Final Battle in December, right? I would believe that'd be the last show that they would put on, right? I mean, maybe, and honestly, I don't see it, but maybe they do, Super Card of Honor. Maybe that does happen. Maybe that is their final, show. That might be their swan song as a company. But then you got to ask yourself, which talent are going to be in there? Which talent are going to compete in that event, let alone for Ring of Honor at that point? That's something you have to ask yourself. Teddy Hart jumping off the cage. Yeah, that was crazy. Even I was a kid when I was watching, that was crazy. Chase Oliver, who's the greatest Ring of Honor wrestler ever? I mean, it has to be Bryan Danielson, right? If we're talking about the greatest Ring of Honor wrestler ever, it's to me, I was more of a Punk fan than I was a Bryan Danielson fan at the time. But it has to be Bryan Danielson or, for me, Samoa Joe. It's one of those two, in my opinion. And without Ring of Honor and AEW, that means WWE wins forever. Yeah, that's possible. That's why I can't stand morons that want to see AEW fail. Because if AEW does fail, and with the news of Ring of Honor now maybe closing the doors for good, MLW and NWA on their last legs, Impact doing whatever the fuck they're doing, yeah, WWE would have a chokehold in the wrestling business again, and maybe for good. And I'll tell you this right now, I'll leave. That would probably be where I would say, you know what? With a few exceptions to like New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah and Stardom, I think I'm done with wrestling in the US. I was there when Masawa came and wrestled for them, got his autograph too. Awesome, V-Pack, putting some of his memories in there. That's an actual cool experience now in hindsight when you look back at that whole autograph too. Backseat Boys winning the ROH tag belts. Yep. Man, Backseat Boys, that was such a gimmick for its time, for sure. ROH CZW Invasion angle, of course. I love that. I personally like that angle. I know some people are kind of mixed on the whole Invasion storyline that they did. I liked it. I liked it. I liked it. I liked Bryan Danielson's heel work at the time. Homicide being the savior for Ring of Honor. It was just great stuff at the time. If you could book an ROH one night stand type show, what would you do? If I could book a ROH one night stand show, I would have to ask everybody that, is contractually available to do so, if they would want to compete for that show. CM Punk is back, so you would have to ask him. Bryan Danielson's back, you would have to ask him. Colt Cabana, Matt Sydal, Jack Evans, Homicide's out there, Eddie Kingston. If Chris Hill can be able to come up there, that'd be fine too. That's what I would do. We're Young Bucks and Hangman and Kenny Omega, Cody, those guys making a one night appearance. That's what I would do. I know there's a lot of anger and politics between Ring of Honor and maybe the likes of AEW and Impact and all that, but that's what I would do, in my opinion. The ROH Dream match between the Young Bucks and the Hardys. Yes. That was when the Hardys came in and did that match with the Young Bucks when they were just fired from Impact, and that was the whole debacle with the Broken Hardys. But yeah, that was a great match. Let's see. Julius Smokes threatening to stab Samoa Joe during his match with Homicide. Julius Smokes is now in MLW now too, doing that whole reformed LAX duo or whatever in MLW. Yeah, Julius Smokes still around. Holy crap. I hated Danielson in Ring of Honor. He always beat my favorites, but man, that was stacked. Yeah, man. It's not like I hated Danielson. I just, compared to like Samoa Joe and CM Punk, and I think even AJ Styles there, those are more my guys than Bryan Danielson. But I never hated him. I respected the man for being one of the best in-ring workers at the time. But yeah, I was more of a Joe Punk guy for sure in Ring of Honor. Let me see here. We can't let WWE get these talents. We can establish that we can't trust them. Well, here the reality is that WWE is going to get a look into some of these released talent, and they're going to pick and choose who they want, and they'll disregard who they don't want. That's just going to be the reality. I could see like I said, I could see a Jay Lethal taking a trainer job in NXT there. You know, I don't know. I mean, who else could I see there? I could see. I could see a Bandito there too. Honestly, man, I wouldn't want Bandito to go there, but I could see that happening. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Kenny King finally gets a shot in WWE like he's been looking for. There's a lot of people that I could see in WWE is what I'm saying. So I would just be wary. This is Seth Rollins' fault. What a dork. And wasn't it Seth Rollins that said, like, he said something about Moxley 2 years ago and was being disparaging about Ring of Honor in the process. I forget. Maybe he didn't, and I could be wrong. But I remember I thought he did. But what a dork. Yeah, because Tyler Black, as a Ring of Honor champion, that was setting the world on fire. It really captivated and kept me into the whole promotion. It's not like it was the beginning of me not following the product like I used to, right? Who do you think could have helped Ring of Honor if they opened the Forbidden Door? I feel Cody would have been great for them. I mean, are you talking about like a talent going into Ring of Honor that could have gotten them that buzz? I mean, you would have to look for Kenny Omega. And despite what all the small subsection of Impact fans that are bitter will say, Kenny Omega did do business and buzz for that company. And then when they didn't act on it, when they didn't capitalize on it, when they didn't improve their product, yeah, no shit, people tuned out eventually. That's what happens. But yeah, Kenny Omega, I could see that. Danielson and Punk making their return at ROH would have helped them too. But, you know, who knows? Let's see, Homicide's War with Corino. Another good one. Age of the Fall. I know a lot of you guys liked Age of the Fall with Jimmy Jacobs and Seth and Lacey and all that. I wasn't that much of a big Age of the Fall guy, but I understand that people did enjoy that whole group in that storyline with Lacey. I understand that, so I'm not gonna hold you on that. It just wasn't my thing. What was your favorite ROH match? Maybe the first Punk and Joe. Maybe the first I think maybe the first Punk and Joe match was that on Ring of Honor. I'd also probably put Steen and Generico from the Ladder Wars. That might be another one. But those would be two that would pop out of my head for sure. Cody doing the Kiss the Ring gimmick was great. It was funny because, like, Cody, I know a lot of people are not aware of what Cody's doing in AEW, so they're missing the point, which is funny to me. But Cody is more self-aware than you think. He knows that you guys hate him because he's not the type of wrestler that a Ring of Honor or even AEW want on top. So he leans into that. He plays into that. So what he was doing in Ring of Honor was perfect heel work. And he made it work. He made you guys hate him so much that you wanted to see him get his ass kicked. It's Pro Wrestling 101. So I like that. And that's a very underrated storyline, actually. Impact's fault, what happened to Kenny. I mean, look, I'm not saying AEW was all innocent. They could have really done more with their talent exchange in their front, but, I mean, if the product is not good, if the product is not consistently good, it doesn't matter if Kenny Omega or Chris Jericho or Jon Moxley or even CM Punk and Bryan Danielson show up on Impact. If everything around them is not good or even subpar compared to this one thing, then people will naturally turn out, and that will turn off and turn out. And that's exactly what happened with Kenny Omega. People wanted to see Kenny Omega, and they stayed around for his segments, but Once they saw Impact was still doing a lot of things that they didn't enjoy in the first place, they tuned out. Simple as that. Impact got the most buzz in the modern wrestling world that they've got in a long while. Their pay-per-view buy rates were on the roof. Their subscriptions to Fight for those pay-per-views were on the roof. People look at these ratings for a dead channel and think, oh, Kenny Omega wasn't a draw. But the other metrics where they saw a lot of gains, they did draw. So what are you talking about? But, hey, be careful what you wish for, Impact fans, is all I'm saying. Because I saw those taping results, okay? Be careful what you fucking wish for. CM Punk signing with CM Punk signing his WWE contract on the Ring of Honor title was pretty funny. Yeah, that whole summer of Punk in 05 was phenomenal stuff. I still go back and try to watch the matches and the moments from that whole era. So, and I'm so glad Punk's back now, so that we could really enjoy that. Joe and Kobashi was legendary, of course. That match was excellent. That match was excellent. I was just thinking about matches that were popping up in my head, of matches that were some of my favorites, but that would be up there too. Obviously, Danielson and Morishima. Yeah, so there you go. I have no idea what's going to happen from this point forward. I don't know what's going to transpire going forward. If any other big updates happen, I will be doing another breaking news audio. If anything else happens to this nature, of this magnitude, I will definitely hop into the newscast and do another breaking news audio episode. But yeah, that's the status right now. Ring of Honor has released all of their contracted talent to work anywhere they would like to work. And at the moment, Ring of Honor is on hiatus until at the very least April of next year. And this could be very well the beginning of the end of Ring of Honor as a promotion going forward. I don't know what's going to transpire, but what I do know is that the wrestling world is changing, and something tells me by the end of this decade, wrestling that you know now will not be what it will be then. So just keep your eyes on a lot of things. Just kind of, pay attention between the lines. But I'm going to sign off for right now. Again, if there's any other breaking news out of this magnitude, then I'll go ahead and break it. But until then, this is Hakeem Johnson telling all of you to stay cool. Stay cool.